Hello, it is me, again, which, you may find confusing considering I'm in a different place. Don't be alarmed. It is still me. So today's going to be a lot less of a scripted video, although I know the last video wasn't very scripted, but that was with another person, so it kind of compensated. But I promise this is not going to be that much of a mess. Today we're going to be doing something that I have been planning to do for all of last year, 2021. This is the 2021 movie tier list of movies that I have seen. Hopefully, you enjoy. If not, I might do it again next year to spite you. Alright, but without much further ado, without my flapping of my hands about, let's get into it. Alright, so, we're starting off with our honorable mentions. These are the movies that I really wanted to watch this year, and I just didn't get a chance to. And number one, we have Eternals. I'm someone who is like a huge Marvel person, so I really wanted to see this movie, but there's just so many other movies coming out in like the last half of the year. I'll watch that when it comes out on Disney Plus, which should be pretty soon, and probably is already out on Disney Plus by the time you're watching this. And the other one is Last Night in Soho. I am a huge fan of Edgar Wright. This is his sixth movie, I believe. There was the Cornetto trilogy of Scott Pilgrim and this is his sixth movie. Not a very many movies to watch, but somehow I've still managed not to watch all of them, including Last Night in Soho, so I'll watch both of these. And now we're going to be going in chronological order, or roughly chronological order of the time these came out, and thus the time that I watched them. Okay, if it could click. Oh my god, what's happening? Okay, we're back. Now we're actually getting into the movies I've seen after 10 minutes of recording. First off, we're going to start with Godzilla vs. Kong. Godzilla vs. Kong was a very interesting thing for me because I am a very big fan of like monster movies, but I wasn't the hugest fan of the other monster-verse. Like, I liked the 2014 Godzilla. I kind of liked the Kong Skull Island. King of the Monsters was alright. I mostly just liked that for like the references and stuff, but I don't know, there's something wasn't clicking for me. But I really liked Godzilla vs. Kong. It's not a good movie. Just by movie making standards, it's kind of mediocre at best, but it's really fun. They kind of cracked what it is people like about monster movies, and that's seeing big fights, lots of destruction, and monster action. That's what people want to see. I feel sorry for Hong Kong because it's completely obliterated after the end of this movie. But yeah, this movie was really dumb, and I loved it. I'm gonna give it a solid A tier. I think I'm gonna move it down to B tier. If it was a better made movie, I would have kept it in A tier. But I think the fact that it's not super well made kind of brings it down a little bit for me. But I still really enjoyed it, so it's an A tier in my heart. I'm recording a tier list video.
Oh, really? What's the tier list?
Some movies that I've seen this year, or this last year.
Ah, so if you edit this out, I'm unsubscribing. And you should too.
How will they know that you've said that?
Because
The next movie that we're going to be talking about is a movie that I have already talked about on this channel, actually. I made a review for it when it first came out. The Mitchells vs. the Machines. Easily the best animated movie that came out last year that I saw. I don't know. I just don't really have much else to say about it that I didn't say in my review. I will try to summarize that here. It's got a lot of heart. I love the style. I think it's really funny. It ties all these things well together, and it really feels like a movie that had a lot of passion put into it, and that's like every film kid's favorite phrase. It had a lot of passion put into it. It had a lot of work put into it. It's really cinema. But yeah, just, check it out. Check out the video thing. Check it out. Watch it. And as for Mitchells vs. the Machines, honestly, I think it's going to go in the S tier. It's an S tier movie. That's my rating. It's tier. All right, next up is Raya and the Last Dragon. I don't have much to say about it. I watched it when it came out. No, I didn't even watch it when it came out. Watched it when it came out on Disney Plus for free. Watched it once, and I don't know. Didn't really leave much impression on me. The acting was good. I think that what's her name? The girl from Star Wars that people bullied off Twitter for no reason. What is it? Anyway, she did really good. I remember thinking that she did really good. It reminded me a lot of like Avatar: The Last Airbender with like all these nations live together in harmony, Then everything changed when the Dragon Nation attacked, or the Darkness Nation attacked. I don't even remember what the villain was. I don't know. It was a decent movie. It was all right. Probably gonna go in C tier. C tier is just like my average. Like, didn't really leave much impression on me. It's not bad, but it's not really that good either. So. Luca was pretty good. I thought it was really cute. I really liked like the animation style because Raya has like the same Disney kind of Frozen looking style. It looks like Tangled and Frozen in terms of its animation style, but Luca had its own little kind of chibi thing. I thought the story was actually really good. Like, it was really invigorating. I'm just saying words. I thought it worked pretty well as a story about people being persecuted for, stuff that they feel like they have to hide. It's a very good metaphor for being gay or trans. But don't tell anybody. They might get mad. I think it's also gonna go in B tier. It's above average. It's pretty good. I would watch it again. Up next is Inside from Bo Burnham. Now, I know Inside isn't technically a movie. It's a comedy special, but it really does feel like a film production. Like, there's a lot of lighting put into it, and there's a lot of production quality. The script writing is superb. There's like a emotional arc. It really resonated with me emotionally. Like everyone else, the music was stuck in my head for 3 months after it came out. This isn't really related to the movie itself, but I will say that I do think a lot of the messages and the intentions of the special got really diluted over social media, over like it being shared again and again and again, and kind of losing its meaning in its own way. But within the context of the special itself, I think it still really hits emotionally, even though we're kind of starting to get out of the self-isolation COVID period.
Oh, well, not quite yet. We don't want to tempt fate.
I don't know where I want to put it. You know what, screw it. Let's go with S tier. It's an S tier. It is a piece of art that stuck with me throughout the year. Then we had In the Heights. I am actually a very big fan of In the Heights. My theater teacher introduced me to In the Heights, the original musical. I just fell in love with it. I would say I love it more than I did like at my peak Hamilton phase, because I like Lin-Manuel Miranda's stuff as much as the next one, but I do think that In the Heights is a much more personal and a lot more lively production than Hamilton is, and I think Hamilton deserves its place in culture that it has, but I've kind of gotten burnt out on Hamilton. I have not gotten burnt out on In the Heights. And the movie was an excellent adaptation. While the original In the Heights was good, it had some problems with it. It was a very simple story. There was a lot of things that need to be tightened up, which is understandable. It was Lynn's very first musical. But this movie tidied up so many of those plot holes, and it developed a lot of the characters, and it changed the things around a bit, and it, I think, made an even better product than the original musical. I just recommend In the Heights. In the Heights is great. Solid musical movie. I don't want to put another thing in S tier, but there were a lot of really good movies that came out. Oh, you know what? Fine. It's gonna go in S tier. Who am I to change my own thoughts about things? A tier. Actually, I think I'm gonna move it down to B tier. I don't change my thoughts. My thoughts are my thoughts. Up next is The Suicide Squad, and that's immediately going in S tier because The Suicide Squad is amazing, and everyone should watch it. Well, maybe not everyone. Small children in general shouldn't watch it. Lots of very gory action, let's say that. But it's a fantastic character study, and it's really funny, and the music is fantastic, and I love the art direction, and it's such a goofy, silly movie. It's so much fun. Like, that is like the main thing I would say about this movie. It's fun. I love this movie so much, okay? And John Cena, apparently he's in it. I didn't see him anywhere. Easily the best DCEU movie I've seen, and I know some Snyder Cut people will say that's the best one, but come on, it's James Gunn. I'm pretty sure a 4-hour cut of a movie that wasn't great in the first place isn't going to be better than The Suicide Squad, but that's just my opinion. Anyway, yeah. Suicide Squad, S tier, is easily one of the best movies this year and one of the best movies I've ever seen. So then we have Free Guy. This is another one that I actually did a video on, which you can watch. And despite the very exaggerative title, I do think this is a good movie. I think it's something that could have been way worse very easily. Ryan Reynolds probably helped a lot with it not being bad. Yeah, it was just a fun little action flick, and the comedy was good, and it actually had some decent like emotional things, which I was surprised by. Yeah, and I like the world building and everything. It's just kind of silly, just a silly little fun thing. I will probably give it A tier. It's gonna go in A tier. First one in A tier, huh? That's weird. Black Widow, of course, needs to be on here. It was the first movie I saw back in theaters, and I thought things were finally coming to an end. Just they're not. That's okay. I'm okay with being stuck inside for a little bit longer. But Black Widow was pretty good. I don't think it was the best Marvel thing that came out this year. I think technically it was the worst movie that I saw this year that was Marvel. Although I haven't seen Eternals, so I don't know how that factors in. Taskmaster was something that I actually liked. That's the thing most people don't like about this movie. It's Taskmaster, but I didn't mind. I thought it was cool. Although, to be fair, I don't have much of an attachment to the original character in the comics. But I think the movie is just kind of made worse by circumstances outside of its control. I don't think it was ever going to be an S-tier movie, just simply because it's about a character who's dead already and who really should have gotten her solo movie way before she did. But Yelena is fantastic in it, and she makes everything better, and I'm so happy that she's in the MCU now. She was hilarious in this movie. She was hilarious in Hawkeye, and I can't wait to see where she is next in the MCU. I'm gonna put it in B tier as well. B for Black Widow. Another Marvel thing is Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Shang-Chi was a movie I was very excited for, actually, because I have watched a couple of old martial art movies, like with Bruce Lee and with some Jackie Chan movies as well, and I've loved those. I think they're like, they've got like this special kind of actiony fun, and they're just impressive to see the martial arts thing. And I think Marvel has a golden opportunity to be able to bring back a lot of genres that are seemingly dead because people will just watch anything Marvel puts out. I think it about met my expectations. I was expecting it to be good, and it was good. The action was good, like I was hoping, and I actually was really surprised. The one thing I was really surprised about was that the villain was really well done. Probably my favorite villain in the MCU. Like, everyone talks about Thanos so much all the time, and I think that not enough people talk about the villain in this movie. A tier with Free Guy. Okay, next one is the Jeff Bezos Cinderella. The Amazon original Cinderella movie with Camila Cabello. Gonna be honest, did not like this movie. You probably know that because I made a whole video talking about why I didn't like it. It just wasn't good. It was boring, and it wasn't like hilariously bad or anything, but it was just like, I just didn't enjoy myself watching it. It was not a fun time. Probably the worst movie I saw all year. Although I've heard movies like Don't Breathe 2 are worse, I think this is probably one of the worst movies that came out this year. So it's probably just gonna go in F tier, because, you know, there has to be an obligatory F tier movie. Next up, Venom, Let There Be Carnage. I think this is in a similar boat as Godzilla vs. Kong for me, in that it's not a good movie. The first Venom movie wasn't a good movie either, but both the Venoms have this kind of weird charm to them. It's not good, and like the villain is bad in the first movie, and the characters are mostly flat, but the performance that Tom Hardy gives as both Eddie and Venom is really funny, and I love their dynamic together. It was pretty clear they wanted it to be rated R, but it wasn't. I think that easily the best part about both these movies is Tom Hardy, and it's funny. It's a funny movie. I think it's gonna go in B tier as well. All right, Dear Evan Hansen. Now, the thing about Dear Evan Hansen is I have very conflicted feelings about the musical. I used to love it. I used to like just adore Dear Evan Hansen. I do not anymore. And part of that is because of this movie. I don't know if that's because this movie just made it worse, or if it just made me think about the original more critically than I did before, but its story is the thing that gets me. The music is good for the most part. When I saw it live, I saw this show live, I liked the stage direction. I love the cast. The cast were fantastic in the show. They deserved to win some of their Tonys, for sure. Did it deserve to win Best Musical? Simply because of Come From Away? I have not listened to the comment one. No. Come From Away, out of the ones that were nominated, should have won. But yeah, I just have really complex feelings about Dear Evan Hansen. The stage show, but not the movie. I do not have conflicted feelings about this movie. I do not like this movie. It took everything that was good about the stage show. Most of what was good about the stage show, in my opinion, was the fact that it was a show. The only good thing about this movie is the music, and all the music was in the show. Just the acting in general was lesser, and the editing was really weird, and the movie just felt way longer than it needs to be. They cut most of the good songs, and I hate to say it. I really do, because it's the thing that everyone says about this movie, and it's really, really tired. But Ben Platt looks too old for this movie. This isn't just a case of me being like, haha, the 27-year-old doesn't look like he's 15? What a surprise. I know they didn't use CGI to make him look younger or anything, but I think it's just like the makeup that they put him in or the lighting or something just made him look really pale and really like emphasized his cheekbones and just made him look sickly because he looks like he's dying in this movie. I don't know. I think Ben Platt's a good actor and I think that he has a future ahead of him and I think he's really good in the other stuff he's been in. But this was not one of those things. And it's not a great musical. The original songs are bad. And I really wanted to like this movie. I really did. But I didn't. It's not the worst movie ever made, like some people seem to think it is, but it's not. I think it's gonna have to go in D tier. Sorry. Next, we have Dune. Whew. Dune is fantastic. I adored this movie. It was the pinnacle of filmmaking of modern filmmaking. Like this is what film is meant to do. You know how James Cameron talked about Avatar and about how it was like testing our senses and everything? That's what Dune is. Except it actually does that. It's not just blue people. I think that it's a really good story that needs to have a good movie adaptation because the other ones aren't great. And because of the influence it's had over science fiction, it's such a great story. And I'm so excited for part 2. I think that this could easily be like a new Lord of the Rings, almost. They said they're going to make this into a trilogy. I'm really excited for that. I love this, and I can't wait to see parts 2 and 3. The sound, the visuals, like the sensory experience was just so great. Hans Zimmer's score was fantastic. Yeah, it was just a great movie. I think I'm going to have to put it in S tier as well. There are a lot of really great movies that came out this year, at least that I saw. Muppets Haunted Mansion. This one disappointed me. I love the Muppets. I've been a huge fan of the Muppets for so long, but when I watched this, it was really hard to get through in one sitting. It's only about an hour long, but it felt like it was 3 hours. It's just like a tour of Disney's Haunted Mansion, but with the Muppets. They changed the Kermit voice, shock and terror. They changed the voice actor for a 50-year-old character, but the new one voice just doesn't have the same life as like Jim Henson or the other guy who's been voicing for the last few years. And they didn't have Frank Oz or any of the original Muppets things. It just doesn't feel like a Muppets movie. It feels like a movie with Muppets in it, if that makes sense. Oh, I'll tell you what it feels like. It feels like a promotional video, like one of those 4-minute promotional videos that they would put in theme parks. It feels like that, but stretched out to an hour. I think it just makes me sad because I think that if this is the direction that Muppets is going to go in the future, I don't think I'm going to be wanting to watch the stuff from the Muppets, which it just makes me sad, man. Muppets Haunted Mansion, gonna also go in D tier. Now, we have Ghostbusters Afterlife. Pretty good. I was honestly a bit surprised at how good it was. You know, reboots are never really that good, but this movie was... You could tell that the people who were working on it, like, loved the original Ghostbusters movies, or even just, like, the first movie, because, to be honest, this movie just kind of pretends like Ghostbusters 2 didn't really happen. I mean, it acts more as a direct sequel to the first movie than it does to any of the other ones. But a lot of it is a tribute to everything about the movie, particularly Harold Ramis, who, if you don't know, passed away a couple years back. There's a huge tribute to that, and all the original Ghostbusters are in it, and Paul Rudd's in it. It's fun, and he's fun. I liked it. I thought it was really sweet. I thought it was a really sweet movie. I did not expect to go into a Ghostbusters movie and have the main thing I was thinking when I came out be, oh, that was sweet. But that's what it was. It was a sweet movie. It was heartwarming. Aww. I think I'm gonna put it in A tier. All right, we're in the final stretch. We've got 3 left. Up next is Spider-Man. There's no way that people didn't see any of these leaks, also known as Spider-Man No Way Home. This movie was really good, and it was a good thing too, because it was really hyped up all of last year. Everything in Marvel was just talking about Spider-Man, the Spider-Man movie, for so long, and honestly I would probably say that it delivered for the most part. It's very much a movie made for fans of Spider-Man. If you're just someone who's kind of dropping in for the first time without any kind of knowledge of Spider-Man, you probably won't get much out of it, because if just as a movie it's good, but like the story isn't phenomenal, but the effects are really good. The fan service in this is great. Like, fan service can be annoying, but when it's done really well, then it really works. And Marvel seems to have figured out how to do fan service really well between this and Endgame, and to a certain extent, What If. This was just a great cinema experience. And while I think that Shang-Chi is probably the best Marvel movie that came out this year, I would want to go see Spider-Man again and again. I think that's also gonna be an A tier. Up next, we have the final animated movie I watched this year, Encanto. This was the movie that had the funny TikTok song. It was another Lin-Manuel Miranda movie, with the score being written by him, I should say. I don't know, I liked the music, but this movie didn't really make much of an impression on me. I guess I just I didn't really get what the point of it was. I don't want to say that because I like this movie, but I just didn't really understand what it was trying to do. Music's good, the stylistic's good, the animation is like fluent, and it's hoppy. Springy? It's springy. Hoppy. So all around, it's a pretty decent movie. Yeah, I think it's also going to be another B tier. And now for our final event, Tick Tick Boom. When I say that this movie is fantastic, what I mean is, this movie is incredible. The best musical that came out this year. It's so emotional. My favorite part was when Andrew Garfield was crying, and I was crying, and I was very sad. But yeah, this like destroyed me. Andrew Garfield absolutely killed it. The rest of the cast absolutely killed it. Robin de Jesus, he killed it. He has like one song that he sings by himself, and it's like one line being repeated over and over, but it destroys me every time. Such a great movie. It's such a great movie. I love this movie so much. I think the Suicide Squad just edges it out for me in terms of movies, but this is also a very easy S tier. Here's my tier list. Feel free to share it on social medias and poke fun at it and say how bad my opinions are. Anything that's an S tier, that's an immediate recommend, like 100% recommend for you to watch. If you like this video, like, subscribe, all that stuff, and tell me if you want me to do it again. Tell me in the comments where I'm wrong and where I'm right. Tell me your opinions. What's an S tier movie for you, would you say? Go stream Tick Tick Boom. It better win an Oscar. If not, I'm gonna get a little angry. Hope you all are having a wonderful, wonderful day. And if you're not having a wonderful day, I hope it gets better soon. And I am very hopeful to see you in the next video. Bye.
Saw Dear Evan Hansen on Broadway, and Ben Platt, who plays Dear